What's up? What's up, everybody? How are you this evening? This is Brown Sugar Confessions on Power 1017, coming to you live every Wednesday night at 11 o'clock. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm so excited for tonight's show. If you haven't done so by now, you need to go to YouTube to like and subscribe and share this video and see our beautiful co-host tonight that we have. I'm going to introduce her a little later on. I just want to get into the show because tonight's show, there was something I had done and I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, I know, Miss T.
Wait, what did you have done? No, you know what? I'm gonna save it. Okay.
You're gonna save it because yeah, it is what it is. But yes,
I mean, I saw you struggling a little bit earlier, so I'm already like intrigued to figure out what happened.
I am struggling just a little bit. I'm definitely struggling, but I'm here. So I'm super excited to talk to you tonight. And I want to talk about our new sponsor in Georgetown, Delaware Integrative Medicine.
Ooh.
They are in Georgetown, Delaware. So make sure that you go and check them out. Check out their website. I'll put their phone number up. Dr. Henry Childers does amazing work, regenerative, integrative medicine. And it's a phenomenal place for people to go that are looking for integrative and rejuvenative medicine. I don't think I said that right.
Rejuvenative?
Thank you. Yeah, I put an Ev to it, Ed. Well, you know, I messed it up.
So essentially, if you want to feel young again, give a little bit of spry, a little pep in our step.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So he does all kinds of amazing treatment. Put their information up. But again, I'm so excited to have our new sponsor, Delaware Integrative Medicine with Dr. Henry Childers. So go check it out. Tell him that Brown Sugar gave him a big shout out.
Yes.
And let's get into tonight's show. So Miss T Love, how are you?
Oh man, you know what? We've been going, I had to get the weather report. It's been storming out here, which honestly is a little bit better than the weather that I was in a few days ago. I would happen to stop through Texas and I was quickly reminded of why I don't visit Texas in the summer.
Why is that?
Because when I was there, it was an average of 114 every day I was there with all sun and no clouds.
You're lying, not 114.
I wish I was lying. I really wish I was lying. I was so happy to be on the other side of Mississippi, I promise you. But outside of that, I am hanging in there, loving it. I'm ready to know what this story is about, why you struggling, because you pulled out a whole pillow and everything. We got our wonderful guest. You ain't even introduced her yet.
As I mentioned, if you haven't done so, go to YouTube and check out our beautiful guest tonight. I'm so happy to introduce to everyone. She's from DC. Her name is Michelle Alexander. She is an amazing attorney and librarian in the DC area. So Michelle, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here, as always. I'm glad I was with you today through your...
I got to know. Okay. All right. I'm here because I need to know what this was.
So, right before we jump into all of that, I'm going to give you a little bit about tonight's show out there in the listening land. If you haven't done so by now, make sure you like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to Instagram, all those places at Brown Sugar Confessions, and send us your emails at Valerie@swansetter.com. And for Brown Sugar itself, send it to brownsugarconfessions@gmail.com. Miss T, I think you've got some fun hot topics though, right?
Oh man, you about to make me bring this hot topic up before we get into your hot topic. All right. So Dr. Val, do you remember when we had our conversation probably about a couple weeks ago about sex toys and how you can use your sex toy for good or for bad, and some people get jealous over sex toys?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, so there's this post that was going around Twitter for a little while of this gentleman, and this is what he wrote, and I just want to know what you and Miss Michelle's response to this would be. I will never support sex toys made for women. Sex toys destroyed my marriage. Don't get me wrong, I had some unresolved issues, but once my ex-wife started buying these sinister toys, she felt I was more disposable. The sex toy industry is taking our women from us. Do something. So tell me you are insecure about your wife finding her sexual freedom without telling us you're insecure about your wife finding her sexual freedom.
Exactly right. And speaking of, I wish Treese was here because she would talk about sex toys, her personal sex toys. By the way, it's summertime, so Treese and KD are out doing some hot girl stuff this summer. Mm-hmm. They're out vacationing, so they'll be back in next week. To answer that, Miss T, I think he laid it out pretty well in the beginning when he said that there were some issues out there before the sex toys came into play. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't about the sex toy. It was really the underlying issue, whatever it is, because sex toys are supposed to enhance the relationship. Right. At times you might use them solo, but the really idea behind them is to use them with your partner. Right. Not just solo all the time. Honestly, there probably was some really underlying issues that the sex toy kind of just pushed his partner over the edge and said, you know what, Poppy, you're out of here. I don't know.
But I can do better without you.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't the sex toy itself. And we had it on another show we had in the tea. And we talked about sex toys and the importance of using them with your partner. Mm-hmm. Don't try to use them all the time solo, because your partner may feel a little like, well, what about me? Mm-hmm. And I don't want to use the word jealous or insecurity, but it's like, well, hey, I can't, no man cisgender thing can compete with the rabbits.
Nah, or the Hashimoto magic wand that we talked about that looks like a microphone.
Exactly. There is no competition, right? No. It's a wrap, right? No one can compete. Nah. So instead of making it a competition or getting upset when she's doing it by herself, hop into the play with her. And, you can use guys, whether you're cisgender or trans, you can use her toy on your body as well.
This is true.
You can put that vibrator between each other and let the sensation go to both partners. So don't just think the Hitachi is just for us, and use it with yourself and with her. Yeah, that's what I think. What do you think, Michelle?
I mean, I think that I agree with you that there's underlying issues. And the thing is that there are some partners, I'm not going to just specify men, but the real thing is that some people get really insecure and upset, particularly when your reaction time is basically cut in half. Right. Mm-hmm. So if you're there doing this, doing the touching, doing the licking, doing whatever you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's taking a while, you're getting tired, and maybe she's getting impatient, then you bring in the toy and it's like, and it's done.
And everybody's happy.
Yeah, right. But the thing is that we'll just talk about this guy. If he's feeling like, why can't I satisfy her to the extent that the toy is, right? Then that's really going to create some self-esteem issues, because like you said, nothing competes with, a vaginal. It doesn't compete. It doesn't work that way. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. But I also think that sometimes for both people to feel like using it, maybe both partners have to have some counseling, because I think a lot of women are also embarrassed to pleasure themselves in front of their men, depending on, where their head is at, right? Absolutely. There were some guys that's like, yeah, let me see you touch yourself and let me see you do whatever. But there are some couples that don't, right? And so it is kind of this secret thing. And then and then the other thing too is, if you're coming in and you're sort of demanding and you're not doing foreplay and you're not, because remember, 90% of it is here.
Exactly. All night. Right.
Right. So if you're coming in already feeling threatened, she can sense that, right? She can sense when someone's coming in with some kind of attitude, And you can't relax and really experience, everything fully if you're worried about what this person's reaction is going to be.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think there needs to be some counseling there, definitely some dialogue, and probably some coaching in terms of, how to use both of those things as play.
Exactly. Simultaneously. And also, I want to tell those that are out there listening, if you look at your partner and they're using a toy, this is why I say masturbate, because no one knows your body better than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't masturbate, you don't know where your buttons are.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of getting concerned or upset of the experience that she's receiving from using the toy, watch where she puts the toy. Watch the pressure that she uses on her part. So take it like as a learning experience, because you could then like, oh, so that's where it is, or that's how much pressure she likes, because she knows exactly. And I'm speaking of women because I'm a woman myself, so I'm thinking of my own experiences. I'm going to ask you to like kind of like reframe it. So don't get mad about it. Participate and learn. That's what I'm going to say.
I think that's the big thing, is that with some guys, they don't want to learn.
That's it. Well, that's a different story.
Yeah. That's another show.
Yeah.
That is another show.
Yeah. If you don't want to learn, well, that's another conversation we need to have later on. But if you're in it for the longevity of the relationship and you want the betterment of your partner's sexuality to continue and be fluid and nourishing and amazing, and yours as well, you need to learn and listen to her or him. Because one thing about sexuality is and when I use the word fluid, I'm not talking about fluidity as far as a gender that you want to be with. I'm talking about your fluidity of how you experience sex is going to change with age.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this before. When you're in your 40s, you might really like doggy style. But then when you're in your 50s, you realize that doggy style isn't working for you anymore. So you want to flip over and do another position. Or maybe you need to go on your side more, or whatever it might be, because your body is changing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't adapt and learn, then that's going to have problems.
Adaptation is key.
Yep, it is so true. So send us some emails in, listening land. Like if you have experience, if you notice that your sexuality has changed with age. And I'm not really talking about your sexual preference. Really, if you notice that your body has changed, if your sensations have changed from 20s to 30s, 40s, 50s to 60s, etc. And we're going to read them on the air because I don't think really people realize that what you had in the 20s, that same button might not work when you're 60 or 70. And that's tonight's show. We're talking about one of the parts of our segments tonight is we're going to talk about dating as a senior. Now, if you're on YouTube and look at Michelle, you're like, Doc Val, you're lying. She's not a senior. Well, she is, and so am I. Right?
Well, first of all, wait. Before we say senior,
okay,
define what you mean by senior.
So they say senior is anyone over 60. Now, I don't really consider a senior as 60, or I personally, I think, it can be pushed out to 70, but what do I know? But people say, oh, you're a senior when you hit 60. So the census.
And AARP, you can join AARP at 55.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is it not technically 55?
No, not really.
I mean, or do you count it at when you are able to draw Social Security?
No, that's farther out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's 65.
That's 65. And they keep pushing it out too, right?
Yeah, they do.
Well, you can actually, you can retire and start getting your Social Security at 60, at 62, at 65. And the one they want you to wait for is 70.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do.
The more you know.
Yeah. You get your most money at 70.
Right.
I'll just say a lot of my friends are like, we're getting it now because we don't know if Social Security is going to be there when we're 70.
Exactly.
What we do? People retire and then 3 years later they're dead, and then you work your whole life.
And you don't even get the money that's owed to you.
Government got 60, 70 years of your work life or, however long you worked. So a lot of people are like, I'm retiring. I'm taking the money now because I want to be able to live my life when I'm physically able to live my life. And the other thing too is, in some cases, the difference between, like for me, the difference in my money, if I retired at 66 or 66 and 8 months is like $200.
Wow.
I can go and do something for, which times 12 is, what, $2,400 a year?
Right.
I can go do, some work or substitute teach or
do something somewhere.
I can do something for a month and get easily in retirement and get $2,400. Right. So why am I going to go to work for a solid year, which is commuting, traffic, gas, getting up, getting dressed, coming home? You spend more to work than you do to make up that $2,400 in that time period. So for those of you out there who are looking at your retirement layout, look at how much money that really is as to when, and it's not looking to be like 200 to 300. Retire.
Exactly. Thank you, Michelle.
The more you know.
Giving in that little attorney tidbit there about your Social Security money. Right? I mentioned our new amazing sponsor, Delaware Integrative Medicine. I went there today because I wanted to talk to them about, being the sponsor, and I wanted also to get a procedure done there.
What kind of procedure?
Like I said, I'm 60 years old. And like anything else, my body is changing, right? There are some procedures there for sexual wellness that are called the O shot and the P shot.
The what and the what?
Shot. O shot is an only shot, and P shot as in purple shot. So O shot and P shot.
Okay, that's way different than what I thought it was.
Yeah, I know you did. Yes. O shot is for women. I think O is for orgasm personally, but O shot's for women, and P shot is for men. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We say eggplant, but yes, it is for the male anatomy, right?
That's why it's purple? Is that why it's purple?
I guess so, right? I guess so. I'm going to talk a little bit about why people are opting to get sexual wellness. And I like the word optimization. That word always sticks in my head for some reason. Okay. It's like you're getting sexually optimized. You're just feeling good about your body. That's why I love going to Delaware Integrative Medicine in Georgetown, because I just get, I feel great when I leave. I get a couple of procedures done. But let's talk about the P shot first, because my husband had the P shot done.
Okay.
So
he okay?
All right. So the P shot for men, it improves sexual dysfunction. They have better orgasms. It helps maintain and achieve erections. Improves penile curvature from Peyronie's disease. So we'll talk about Peyronie's disease in another one of our shows. Okay,
because I already got questions. All right.
Yeah, we're going to talk. That's a whole nother. That's a show in itself.
Oh, okay.
Is Peyronie's disease. It increases sexual stamina, but the P shot uses platelet-rich plasma, which they call PRP, which contains growth factors to promote new tissue growth. Okay, so you got a science background, Ms. T.
Yeah.
That makes sense to you?
It do.
Okay. So then the PRP is injected into the eggplant after it's numb. So there is no pain involved, right? So I actually, because we're there working, I actually videotaped the whole procedure for my husband. And
oh no. Why you did a notorious KOP like that?
Only a man that loves his wife would do something like this. His eggplant literally disappearing because he's so scared because they're going to inject his eggplant.
Oh no.
He's like, what are they going to inject? Because he truly woke up this morning. It's like, well, I'm just going to go learn about it, but I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to do it. He's like, no, I'm not. The next thing I know, his drawers are dropped and he's doing it.
So get it done first.
But like, okay, now I got questions.
Mr. I'm not getting it done was in the room first.
Okay. I will give him props for that, because that is love. That is love to go into something that you were, one, you just learned about, and two, you are probably not prepared for. But my question is, okay, so it was an injection. Was it an injection like in like where on the eggplant? Was it into like the main blood vessel? Was it into like the bottom? Like, was it into the urethra? Like,
okay, so let's talk about it, right?
Okay.
First of all, my husband is a wimp when it comes to pain. He said it was no pain.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. So all the guys listening out there, it's absolutely okay. And if you're transitioning from female to male, this procedure also works. And one of the byproducts of this procedure working, that it also promotes girth length.
Oh,
I know, Miss T, right?
Oh, okay.
So you got a brand new eggplant.
Like you got a whole. It was gone. It wasn't there. Now it's there, and now it's big. Like, okay.
It's bigger. I was like, well, I didn't know that. So my husband was like, I hope it does grow, because right now I'm so scared.
Oh no.
The sweat on his forehead.
I can only imagine.
He was just so nervous. So what happens is they put the numbing cream on him. Mm-hmm. The doctor came in, and Dr. Childers explained what he's going to do. And he puts little dots. He actually pulls the shaft out, stretches it out. And then puts dots on the shaft is where it goes.
That just feels like it's going to be.
Not the head, okay, just the shaft.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I wasn't there, just to be clear.
Okay.
I heard everything afterwards. I want they thinking that like I wasn't there with them.
That's it's a whole nother kink.
So then they put little dots on him, like little ink dots, to know where they're going to inject them. And he said, we're not going to inject you on that because then you have a tattoo, but we're going to inject like next to that. And so then he gave him 4 injections. And they actually take the blood, they put it in a centrifuge, I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
And so they extract and get the PRP. Then they inject it back into your own body.
Okay, so they take out his blood, filter it down to the platelets, and then they put the platelets back.
Exactly.
And he actually spun it twice.
Yeah, they spun it
because they want certain layers of different cells. And so they particularly want cells at the top that have something to do with inflammation. Right. And then so there's actually layers of different cells in there that have different properties.
Right.
That are restorative.
He had that done, no pain. And he walked out there, he was like, the only thing he did say after the procedure was done is that he went to go to the bathroom. And he says, I went to go, pee. And I could not feel my eggplant because it was still numb. He was like, it was a really crazy sensation.
Oh no.
He said, I know we got to go pay bills. Oh my God, we just got started in the show. It's crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't go anywhere, because then we're going to talk about me and what happened with me.
Because I need to know. All right, everybody. Well, go ahead, find your drinks, go to the restroom. Hopefully you don't have numbing cream on, and come right back, and we'll be back after these messages. Stick with us. Welcome back, everybody, here to Brown Sugar Confessions on Power 1017. Thanks for coming back and hanging out with us. Remember, you can always like and subscribe and talk to us, write to us, send us your confessions on Facebook, Instagram. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Like and subscribe. If you want to email us directly, you can always reach out to us at brownsugarconfessions@gmail.com. If you want to talk to Doc Val specifically and give her your most personal confession, you can reach out to her at Valerie@swancenter.com. That is Valerie, Valerie at Swan with 2 N's, center.com. So let's get back into this whole P shot, O shot situation. So we learned the story of the P shot. God bless Mr. Val, notorious KOP. Tell him I wish him the best. Tell him I wish him the best. Well, speaking of shots, since he got a shot, that means you got a shot, right?
I did get a shot because I wanted to experience it, because I also recommend clients to go there. And of course, when you're recommending clients for procedures such as this, it's good if you can experience yourself. So that's why I chose to do this. Mm-hmm. And my husband was forced into it because I told him to do it. But anyway, and I helped. And Michelle helped. So yeah, I did mine today. And the same thing, they numbed me really good first. For women, it is a revolutionary non-surgical treatment that utilizes platelet-rich plasma to improve sexual wellness in women. Female rejuvenation, the O-shot/B shot is beneficial treatment for vaginal dryness, urinary incontinence, pain during sex, and much more. I went to go check out the procedure. Number one, to see if it was painful, to see if it was beneficial, and just to let my clients know about the procedure. I went, I got numbed, and about 20 minutes later, Dr. Henry came in. The same thing, they drew my blood, did all that good stuff, centrifuge, platelet, all that stuff was done, just like my husband's. Mm-hmm. Oh. My husband did videotape it.
Uh-huh.
We're going to put it on YouTube. We're going to, block our private parts out, but we're going to put it on YouTube so you guys can check it out.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to block out the private parts. We actually did like a full interview with Dr. Henry after it was all done.
Okay.
What they did was they open up the vaginal area. Mm-hmm. They injected into my clitoris, a shot in my clitoris. Yes, put your eyes back in Miss T. She's like,
hold on.
Yes, I got 4 shots. Right, hold on. Let me tell you where they were.
Okay.
So, I'm holding. The lady Madura, he opens it up, and then he put like 4 more injections into the gland in that area. I do also believe that they also inject the G-spot, because I was so numb, I really could not tell where he was injecting, to be honest. But he did tell me. I did ask him to explain to me where he was injecting the PRP. Mm-hmm. It did not hurt at all. Mm-hmm. What I did feel was when they inject the clitoris, you'll feel like a little burning, almost very lightly, not heavy, not very painful at all, a little light burning. I asked him, because this is the question asked me by a client, does it help them with female ejaculation? And he looked at me and giggled. He's like, I don't know. We've never studied that before.
Oh, no.
He says, I would assume it does. And then he went into explaining why it would perhaps enhance those that ejaculate from their Skinner gland, from their G-spot.
So essentially nobody's actually gone back and reported that.
Exactly. So we are on Brown Sugar. We're going to actually make a whole study around this, because it's fascinating to see if you're able to, or if you're finding that you are able to ejaculate as a female using this procedure. There's no downtime. I went to the bathroom as well after it was done, and I was so numb, I didn't know I was peeing until I heard the water hitting the toilet, because I couldn't feel anything. I was like, well, this is a strange sensation.
And tell them, how do they numb you?
Oh, so they numb you by using a white topical cream. Okay. And the nurses come in and they put cream all over your vaginal area, your labia majora, minor, inside, around your urethra. They really numb you very. So
they just slather it all down there.
It's like they a big old gop, girl. They just rub it all on there.
Oh, they say you ain't feeling nothing. We about to make sure that
she did. She got all up in them nooks and crannies. Make sure everything was numb. I was like, "Where you at now, girl?" And she was like, and only thing I was worried about, because I went to go pee before the procedure, I was worried I was going to have toilet paper there. I was like, I hope I don't have.
Ma'am.
Only concern is if I had some paper stuck, that was dying.
Oh no.
The nurses were cracking up, but I honestly, it was no pain. The numbing cream has worn off. He says after the procedure is done, they encourage you the same day to go and have sex because you want to have that engorgement in your vaginal area.
And yeah, because that was about to be my next question is, so how do you feel now that everything's worn off?
I feel really good.
Mm-hmm.
And he said you will notice some swelling, which is good. He says, and it will be permanent. Like there is more plumpness in the mons venus. For those that are going through menopause, you might notice that your mons has lost estrogen, so it gets a little fat.
Okay, so hold on. For those of us who don't know what a mons venus is.
Okay. So you know where the hair grows?
Yes.
That's your mons venus.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And a lot of people don't realize that area has a lot of amazing nerve endings. So stroking, touching, massaging, that feels really amazing. As you go into menopause, your estrogen decline, the mons venus starts to flatten. And so I did notice within a couple of hours that area was more engorged.
Oh,
and
so the rabbit got fat is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, the baby got fat. Yeah. I did notice that the labia majora was also quite large, as well as the clitoris. I did notice that it was actually engorged and has stayed that way.
Oh.
And he said, that's like you're a younger woman. So hooray for me.
Yes.
So after this show, you know what I want to do. I'm not going to talk about it, but you know what I'm doing after this show. My husband, he's ready.
So it sounds like there's about to be a clinical study. And we're going to hear about the results or the preliminary results next week on Brown Sugar Confessions. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us so you can get the update.
Absolutely. So I would tell anyone if you're in this area, and I've got clients from DC. I had clients come to him from New York, New Jersey. I have them go down to Georgetown, check out Delaware Integrative Medicine in Georgetown. They do lots of amazing regenerative medicine. This just happens to be something that I personally just chose. But go check it out. Brown Sugar sent you.
Oh, yes. I love it.
And I will say, too, the doctor's very professional. He's very qualified. As much as we, kind of laugh about some of this, for a lot of people, it's really serious.
It's real serious, yeah.
And the real thing is it's really important to go to a really good medicine.
Brilliant and very funny at the same time. He's like, one more question, Dr. I'm like, yes, one more question, Henry. Let's get this out the way.
But it's good because he answers questions. And a lot of people complain about docs. They don't know what's going on, or they don't feel comfortable talking to their doctors. He's great. He answers your questions. He gives you plenty of time.
Shout out to Delaware Integrative. And like I said, send us your emails if you went. If you have questions about why you should go, email them to me. I'll forward it to him. We're going to put his info up as well and his link up. But yeah, I'm excited by it. So Michelle, now we're going to talk about you.
Yes.
Because this show is about dating as a senior. Mm-hmm. And what's it like to date as a senior, Michelle? Because you're over 60.
Yeah.
Single, you're not married. So what's it like out there? Are you on Tinder or like something like that?
No.
Okay. You're not.
No. So I'm the person who has been on dating stuff because I got married late. I got married late at 40, and then I wasn't married very long. But I was the person that before they had like online anything, they had paper ads, they had city paper, they had Washingtonian magazine, they had chocolate singles.
Mm-hmm.
Then
chocolate
it went
singles.
The internet. Yeah, that's taking it back. And then
what?
And I got stories, but those are younger day stories.
You got it.
Oh yeah, like people writing you from jail, telling you what you need in a man, and I'm like, but you locked up. How do you know what I?
Oh no!
You can't even take me out, really. I actually met my husband online at the time, and there were only like 2 dating sites, which was American Singles and IntroServe. I met him on IntroServe, and then didn't work out, but we're good friends.
Oh,
all these other things have evolved. Some of them I tried later. And then, and I think what a lot of older people do is they get into a relationship with someone. And lots of times, as you go through things in your life, you kind of sit in that, right? Because there's so much going on in your life. You have things with your kids. So, with me, my stepkids. You have lots of times you pivot to taking care of your parents, which is what I did. So that in some cases, if you're busy dealing with your career, that's when you move into management, or you move into advancement, or you move into leadership, that there's a lot of focus on that. And a lot of your time, you don't have the same amount of time to be like in the bars, in the street. I mean, I know there's plenty when, people who do, but lots of times people in my age, like, they call us the sandwich generation, where we're raising our kids, and our kids are getting to college, and then we have to turn around and take care of aging parents.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And so, my parents just passed, so that's opened up like time for me to be able to not have to care for them. Okay. Which is sad, but I'm being truthful.
Right. Yeah. I got it. Right. And so now it's about you.
So there are people who are doing, now, obviously, if you want to hit it and quit it, you're going to do stuff like Tinder or Plenty of Fish.
What? Plenty of Fish?
Yeah.
You haven't heard of Plenty of Fish?
No, I've heard of Tinder, but no, Plenty of Fish.
Well, Plenty of Fish is free for people. I heard it. Now, I have been on it, but I've heard from, seniors talk to other seniors.
Seniors are talking.
Right. So I have some friends that, they're like, yeah, I can go to a city and get on and get with somebody, and, but I'll just say this, safety first.
Okay.
Safety first.
Safety always.
Safety, oh, yeah.
Regardless of age, safety is always important.
Right.
Yes.
So one of the things too is when you eventually get that person's real information, you want to Google them. You might want to pay money, like pay that $7 or $8 or that $20 on one of those sites that looks up people, that can look up all their records and stuff. Because the last thing you want to do is, the extreme is like, oh, and you met a serial killer.
You found a professional con man or woman.
I have that other. Like, I met a guy who was impersonating a doctor who was not a doctor, who actually had a very misogynistic, really almost hating women, violent website.
Hold on. Whoa.
Well, go back. Go back. All right.
Okay, because I'm already feeling that Auntie Michelle needs to come back, because she done gave us a lot of like breadcrumbs to stories that I need to know more about.
Yeah, there's a part. Yeah, you're coming back next week because we want to know.
Okay, I'll come back. The lawyer side of me, like, once I get the lie, then I gotta track you down.
Oh no!
Oh my! Okay.
Oh no!
All right. So go ahead.
So let me back up.
Okay.
So first of all, you do want to. I feel it's important to investigate it, because one of the things that I think a lot of women my age are vulnerable to is being scammed.
Oh, wait a minute, Michelle. Hold on. I have a question. All right, because here we are in our 60s.
Right.
Who has time for games like that? Are people out there playing games at 50 years old, scamming and playing games?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, they are.
Well, the reason why is also because if you've been working, if you've had a career, this is the time of your life where you have the most money you've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. By this time, most people are at the top of their salary scale. They have a house. They should have savings. They
got a 501k, 401k,
403b
assets.
Right. Have a nice car. Right. So that also makes you a target. And then there are people that, if they feel you're alone and you're lonely, because the other thing too is people in my age range can be coming out of a divorce,
right?
Mm-hmm. Or they could be widows or widowers,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or they could have mates that have Alzheimer's or dementia, because 60 into the 70s is when this really begins to manifest. I mean, it can be later, but you never know when that could happen. People get certain types of ailments and conditions. People have prostate cancer. In our demographic, we have to worry about sexual dysfunction from diabetes, people with heart attacks, all the things, high blood pressure. So there's a lot of different things that can have you be in a place where you're dating, right?
Right.
That happened with Mr. Samuels. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Kevin Samuels.
And he was not old.
Yeah, no, he was what, 54 or 55,
He was like
right?
somewhere between 54 and 57.
Oh, okay. A young man.
First of all, I would say if you're going to start dating again, know what age, know your limits, right?
So let me ask you a question. Would you date a young man?
I'm married a young man.
That's a yes.
Oh wait, how young is young? How young is
He's
young?
10 years younger than me, and
Okay.
he figured it out after I talked about the 60s, and he realized it wasn't the 70s.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
But by the time he found out his nose was open, so he was gonna stay anyway. So yeah, definitely younger.
So you would date a younger guy now?
Yeah.
And so would you date a guy you're in your 60s, would you date a guy in his 70s and 80s? And are you looking for more companionship, or are you looking for just good sex?
Probably companionship.
Yeah.
I would say good sex can be had anywhere at any time with anything.
But it's not a priority. It's not something you're seeking when you're looking for more companionship.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And the thing too is you have to know yourself, right?
Right.
You have to know the things that you value. Like if you're a person of faith, you're going to want someone who's going to share your religious beliefs with whatever requirements or limitations, right? So there's some people who, like if they're very devout in their faith, they may abstain, right? Until they're in a committed relationship. Right. And then you have people who, like they want someone who's more intellectual, or you may have someone that's really into sports. So you want someone who's going to go to the games, right? So you want to be with someone that's like, yeah, we're going to go to the Nationals or the O's or the Ravens or the Washington football team, right? So we want, I want someone that's going to go out and go to games all the time. So you have to have that level of compatibility. So I have someone who wants to go to Kennedy Center. If I have someone that never wants to go to the theater, it gets really dry when you get to be really at any age. Right. Certainly at this age, if I'm now able to afford season tickets to the theater, that I have someone that doesn't want to go.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the other part of it too, is that, for me, a big part of companionship was like, because I love to travel, how many beautiful sunsets do I have to see alone?
Oh, wow.
Aww. Like, I don't want to go back to Venice if I'm going to be alone.
I want to go to Venice. You need a partner? You need a travel buddy?
Not the same. But the whole romantic thing, to go to really romantic places and to be by yourself. I mean, I've gone when I'm young. I've gone with group trips, but it's another thing when you really, if it's important to you to share that moment. Right. So you want to have those compatibility factors. And then you also have to figure out what your deal breakers are. Right. In other words, you have to figure out for you, what is the thing that I just can't live with or I can't live without. Right. And then, of course, the other thing you have to navigate is exes, if they have them, children, if they have them. You really don't want to have to wrangle. If you're 60, you don't want to have to wrangle an 80-year-old mother-in-law who wished she had married her son instead of you.
Oh, Michelle, that's another show. But yes, I hear you. Yeah.
Right. Because we're the ones usually that are organizing the family events, keeping the calendars, doing the schedule, and we know what goes on with family. Right. We know that, sometimes when you get to that point where you are sort of consistently seeing somebody, you want to talk about what's that schedule look like, right? Because in other words, there are some people that Christmas is like a big deal. Right. Like for me, it never was, because being in education, I was always traveling over the holidays. But you know what? If I get with someone where Christmas and being with family and being with kids and whatever is a big deal, then you have to be flexible about, what's what. Or maybe you switch it up, which is a whole nother show. Like when people have visitation with their kids, they switch up holidays. Right. So it could be like, if Thanksgiving is a big deal with your family, then maybe, he comes spends Thanksgiving with your family. you go spend Christmas with his, or you alternate.
Right.
Or depending on the distance, you split it.
Right. Now, I want to ask you this question. So I'm going to jump right, you know me, I'm going to jump right into the meat and potatoes of it. All right. Let me just talk about sex for a minute.
Okay.
As a senior. Because, you know, I've read a lot of studies about STDs in seniors.
Going rampant.
It's rampant.
Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned safety before. Is that something you think about being a senior? Because I mean, I'm a married senior, so for me it's a different world. But as a single senior and you're dating, do you really have a concern about STDs, or do you not think about it because you're older?
I think honestly, as a community, we don't. Because one of the things that we're so happy about is usually by the time you get to this space, you've gone through menopause. So, yay!
I can't get pregnant.
And so all those years that you know, especially when you use the condoms or something like that,
right?
It was like, ooh, I don't want to get pregnant. Ooh, I don't have to take the pill. Ooh, I don't have to put hormones in my body.
Right.
Ooh, da 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 da. Right. So I think a lot of us don't think about that. We don't think about STD, and we should.
Right. Absolutely, you should think about it.
Because in what I've learned about since I've been looking at 55 plus communities, it's how STDs and HIV is still spreading in senior communities, like 55 plus communities, and like gated communities that are just
exactly
seniors.
I heard a lot about that, and I know right now we don't have enough time for this.
We
show.
don't. It's time for us to slide out.
An hour. And we just got started. Can you come back?
Of course.
Yeah. Do you want to hear more?
Yes.
Of the show?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So we got to wrap it up. And we just got. I hate that. We need more time.
Yes.
Power. We need an hour and a half or 2 hours. Because once we go, we don't know when to stop.
This has actually been pretty enlightening, because that's something. Considering that I'm not going to say I'm a baby, but me being the youngest of the three, that's something I would never have to, not that I never would have to consider, but that's something I would not have considered yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, for those that are in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and, hearing Michelle talk about dating as a senior and going there is going to be, it's an important topic. And if you're in your 60s and dating and wanting companionship, look her up because she's beautiful. So on that note, what we say on Brown Sugar Confessions is to stay safe and play safe. And thank you for listening to another show on Power 1017. Go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, like, subscribe, and share. And big shout out to Delaware Integrative Medicine in Georgetown. Thank you for the procedure. Thank you for sponsoring us. And we will see you next week with all the hosts here on the show. Bye-bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Brown Sugar Confessions on Power 1017. Go to our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram page at Brown Sugar Confessions to like, share, and follow. Stay safe and play safe. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.